Hello and welcome to Adlam, and in today's touring car deep dive we're looking at the Vauxhall Astra. I'm assuming it's a VXR, that's what I'm labelling it as anyway. And if you're watching this the day it came out, I am now 40, I'm actually recording it on the morning. But anyway, let's get to the first race. I didn't qualify here at Laguna Seca for the third week in a row. I've also come to realise I don't want to race at this track. So the guy next to me doesn't go, as you see there. So made a couple of places up already. There's another one. Down into turn 2. This is normally where this race comes a cropper for me. Will we get through that one okay? And there goes a prime liveried Audi. He'll become relevant in the lap. Bit of argy-bargy going on there, so I go up the inside, yeah, he just turns in on me. It's like I was there. You were going slow. I'd say not normally an overtaking place, but for me it was quite obviously an overtaking place because he was just so slow. He gets it wrong on the inside there, so I go around the outside. He slots in behind, and up towards the hill I go here. Now this one here, like, he braked a little early, he's on the brakes really hard. I probably shouldn't have gone for it, I'll accept that, but he then decides that was his course of action. He actually got worse off than I did. From that specific incident anyway. Ultimately it worked out for him because the prime liveried Audi I mentioned earlier, watch this, and yeah. I mean he switcherooed me. If he just kept it tight he probably still would have got me up the straight. I mean he's in an Audi, so, but whatever. Unfortunately, getting shoved into B class after the last race of the last group, that's what happened to him. You can see him there, look, he went wide there, oh he's back off in the sand, and he quit. So barging me out of the way was completely pointless. But without jumping to lap 3, this saw the VW Golf behind, had a spin, he braked early. I felt like to avoid smashing into his backside I kind of had to do that, but I still got a penalty for it, so whatever. He gets the better drive up here because he was bashing me in and out of the corner. I missed my braking point, I'll admit, but then he just spins me out there, and I know I cut it a little early here, that's my mistake, but I got a 2.75 second penalty for that. So I don't know if it was for hitting that Golf that was already off the track. Now here I was thinking, oh, I'm just going to go in, do half on mediums, half on softs, and then the last second I was like, actually no, I can do another lap on mediums, and then, because 4 laps on softs this car can do around this place. So I thought, sod it, I'll do a 6th lap on the mediums. Might be a bit of a struggle. But we'll get there. So here I are, start of lap 7 after making my pit stop. So we are coming up to the corkscrew. I think I get another penalty here for that, which is fair. So out of, I think, 6/10 of my penalties that were fair enough, I think he just bottled it. Because I was behind him for about a lap and a half, I think. At that point, pretty close.
You got this.
So going on to the final lap, I am in 13th place currently with this penalty, and you can see I'm catching up with Ogre Boy, which isn't an ominous name in any way, shape or form. It's coming into turn, I believe this is turn 3. I just hit minor tyre wear now, but he's obviously suffering on his mediums because he did that hit the lap before me. Just closing. with every second that goes by. He turned on me, and he turns on me again. So that's totally on him, by the way. I'm not accepting anything for that. I was clearly in front. I had the inside. You needed to make sure you didn't turn in on me to make that corner safely. Just hit moderate tyre wear, so I brake a little earlier than I would ordinarily for this final corner. But we get around it nicely. So I got 12th in the end. I feel like it could have been more, but for getting spun out at the corkscrew, which I got the big penalty for, which I think was harsh, personally, but it is what it is, you know. This new penalty system is going to be cruel, as we'll find out for the start of our second race. So this one I did qualify, I think I qualified 9th. We'll see when we start. But the start of it just didn't go well for me. 9th, yes we did. So see, I get a better start than the guy up my inside. I didn't realise that there's an MG that got an even better start and is up his inside. So when I turn in, but I gave room for one car, not knowing that. So a radar would be really nice, because that wouldn't have happened if I had a radar, because I would have known there was a third car up the inside and I would have stayed wider. So that contact, as you can see, was initiated by him. He hit me in the back. No penalties around there, so that one's alright. Oh no, it's this contact up here. So this one I'm not getting at all. So I realised, okay, no one's going to try and go up my inside just now, so I'm going to try and move over. He then, once I'm straight, he hits me again. He turns in on me. I got the penalty for the first with the Audi. Then I get another penalty for the Honda turning in on me. It's like, what? Like the first penalty, okay, I can accept that because I did spin the guy out, as unintentional as it was. That was a great rejoin, by the way. But the other, and then I'm just getting shoved out all over the place. So I've lost 4 places, 5 places now, about to be 6 places. Is that going to be 7? Is this guy coming up my now? I think. Oh yeah, I go wide, so yeah, it's 7. I think here comes 8. So it just goes terribly to start for me. Yeah, it does. Just look at that. See, I think I just got a bit just, you know, flustered after that second worth of penalties I got in the space of no time for 2 incidents that I don't think were my fault. I feel like they turned in on me both times. Well, they did, but whatever. So this one, I think, yeah, I just get a better drive out of the final corner. Vale up towards Abbey, down the Hamilton Straight, and yeah, he turns in on me again. So it's a habit, I think. Flash Motorsport's right with the whole, or Flash Gaming with the whole apex syndrome that people get. So that's a lap later, he decides he's going to rear end me for whatever reason. I'm not entirely sure. So he sort of gets a bit of a better drive out of this corner. But you really find out, actually, this Astra is pretty good, because I didn't know that it weighs the same as the MG, but actually has 10 extra horsepower. I'll go through that with the hot lap in a minute, but so this should really be more OP than the MG is by the numbers. Its PI is terrible, but by the numbers it absolutely should be better. So I'm thinking the MG's given tyres or something that the Astra's not. I need to look into that. So yeah, I think that was just me getting the better of him, finally dispatching with him. They're going on to lap 7, so it's halfway through the race. And I've just hit minor tyre wear. Guy coming out of the pits there. And again he turns in on me. Like, I'm there. It's not like that was a dive bomb. I was quite comfortably there. I give him space, plenty of space for him, but nope. He decides he's going to bunt me out of the way. So Yeah, as you get down lower into these lobbies, because obviously with each race, as I'm picking up these penalties, it's killing my safety rating. I'm getting into worse lobbies, and I'm getting, well, you're about to see. So look, he gets contact with the other guy, I get a much better drive, I'm up his inside, like, I'm there now. It's my corner. Nope, not there. He obviously doesn't like the fact that we made contact, so he hits me there, and then he hits me again, completely spinning me around. So that was pretty much the end of my race there. Yeah, I did catch up with the guy on the last lap, and I really thought about just fucking T-boning him, but I didn't. I thought better of it in the end. But anyway, we move on to the hot lap. So let's go through the stats. As I mentioned earlier, so obviously this is, as all the cars are, front wheel drive, front engine, 2 litre, turbocharged, inline 4. They all have them so far. I'm not sure if all the cars have the same engine, but it looks like that's the way it's going. But this, 350 horsepower, 261 kilowatts. That's actually like 10 horsepower more than the MG has. 315 pound-foot of torque, that's 427 newton meters of torque. And the weight is exactly the same as the MG, 1,260 kilograms, which is 2,778 pounds. So, online, I'm not entirely sure why, firstly, why the PI is so low. Like I said, maybe it's the tyre, things like tyre width, or stuff like that. Because it's quick, like down the straight, it's not particularly slow. I can hold it all round, so that was not bad. So as you can see, so far I've done a 2:37.6. I went a little wide at Pouon, which is why it was dirty lap, literally just a smidge wide. But this one I'm finding like apex speeds are slightly higher than with most of the cars. I think maybe the Focus is the only one that's, I can kind of say, apex speeds have been better. You see here we're kind of flashing with my best time so far through there. 2:10s up so far around this lap. So coming into the Fania chicane, I went for the late apex, and then I'm just able to just lift a little bit, but you know, still half throttle, because I've got some new pedals, so like trail braking and being a bit more gentle on the throttle is much easier with these new pedals than the plastic piece of crap that came with my wheel. That best time that you see at the bottom was actually the lap from a standing start. I never beat it through there for the next 10 laps, and obviously that's always going to be one of my slowest laps because it's from a standing start. But with everything else, once again, it's all full throttle until you see the curb coming up here. There it is, and get down to second. A little bit wide, so I compromised into the second part. I'm going to bring up the times. Thought I'd bring up something so it stands out a little bit more for you. So obviously 2:36.613 is the time to beat, and we get a 2:36.811, which actually puts us in second place. Beats the MG. And on the final lap, you see I already screwed it in turn 1. So. But we move on to our final race, and we are here at the Nürburgring. This is the Grand Prix circuit. I didn't qualify again. I've decided, whilst I've been sent down to these lower safety rated lobbies, I'm just going to start at the back and try and keep my nose out of trouble. So here we are in 18th, and off we go. You see the VW behind in the mirrors up there, got a great launch, which is probably why this is about to happen, but I'm waiting to turn in, and then just as I'm about to start turning in, I get pit manoeuvred. So lack of patience is the gist of that one. You know, I'm having to wait for the guy inside me to turn in, even though I'll show you race highlights at the end, and you'll see that I could have turned in a bit earlier, but I didn't know that from my perspective. So yeah, that Hyundai, which to be fair, when you're driving that car, it does not sound too bad, but when you're not driving it, it sounds horrible. Absolutely horrible. So he's a bit wild, so I'm just thinking, okay, I'm just going to stay behind him, hence why I give him the bump draft, because I didn't want to be in the danger zone, because I had a feeling that this was going to happen. So, and oh look, the guy that spun me out. Well, you know, never mind. I did actually try and avoid him, but you know, he rejoined and went right across my path. There's not really much I can do about it. But you know, let's just say I wasn't too concerned because that's the guy that spun me out. So whatever. So now back up to where we started. Let's see if we can try and gain some positions before the end of the first lap. So corners around the Nürburgring, I'm not familiar with. I know the Spa-Francorchamps, and that's about it. I couldn't tell you the rest of the names because I don't know them. I'll be honest. But for this one, we want to stop at about the 100 board. Got over the first one all right. Yeah, that's pretty good over the second one too. I think I only got that right about 2 times, and that was one of them. So. Yeah, so 2 people were obviously off track there. So I gained 2 spots into 16th place at the end of the first lap. So I'm sure I could have gained more, but being sent to the back at turn 1 didn't help. So we're coming up on another Red Bull livery Civic. Not the guy from Silverstone. He did squeeze me a bit, I felt, but you know, it's fair in the end of the day. Like, he didn't push me onto the grass, just kept it snug, so we'll let that go. But we'll now round into turn lap 3. Let's get it right. Coming down into this S section, I found, like, with all the people I was racing with, like this section here, I was always so much quicker than them and just being held up all the time. But you see here, it's getting, you know, the cars are getting a bit close, so I felt like trouble's afoot. Yeah, so the guy in the lead, of the group, disappeared into the sand. The Civic goes a bit wide. I get up his inside, coming up to the Schumacher-S's, or S, and he tucks in behind. And that's actually today's thumbnail. It's from that overtake there. I get up his inside here because he brakes a little early, so I mean, no contact, nice, easy, comfortable pass up to 13th place. Now chasing down another Hyundai, or Hyundai, sorry. So I've been saying Hyundai for like 30 years, and then you decide to tell us that it's Hyundai. It's hard, you know. Hard to change what you've been calling it for most of your life. And you didn't get that right, and a deserved penalty. Like 7/10, I mean, maybe 7/10 is a bit harsh of a penalty, but it was a penalty, so I'll take it, you know what I mean. So after I've done my lap, I've accidentally pushed the button, haven't realised I haven't changed I need to change my camera back. And this is where it's like, okay. But in the pit stop phase, you saw that Hyundai that jumped in the pits. I managed to jump him in the pit stops. With this one, I just went with because the softs can't last 3 laps. You get minor tyre wear literally as you start the lap. And this is where my race comes undone. A little wide, and that's that. I felt like I could have got a top 10 if not for that incident. So that was on me. But anyway. So on to lap 7, back down to 16th place. I think some people haven't pitted and someone still has to. I come across to a Hyundai friend, and yeah, he just turns in on me again. Like I'm there. That sends me round. never mind, so we go to chase him down. And onto the final lap, down towards turn 1. Now people might think this is a pretty epic dive bomb.
One more lap.
But I brake at my same braking point. And I comfortably made the corner. So he just braked really, really early. But it looks epic, I'll agree. It looks like it was an epic dive bomb, but it really wasn't. It's just how early you brake. I think he's braking at the 150, whereas I'm braking at the end of the curve, which is about 120, 125. So he may even be braking even earlier than that, just how much I gained on it, because I was like 7 tenths behind. So we're going to stick with this final lap, just because he has a moment here trying to avoid me. I didn't quite, you know, this is not my normal line. I normally like to take this wide, because then you get on the power much earlier. I think that caught him out behind. He had to slam on his brakes to not hit me, so thank you very much for not hitting me that time. That opened up this gap, and now I'm like over 2 seconds ahead of him, so he's got a bigger penalty than I do. But you just noticed as I was going around the hairpin there, the guy in front went from 11, 12 seconds ahead of me to now 5 seconds ahead of me. I noticed this, and I was like, oh, he's got a 5-second penalty. Another place is on the cards. So the hunt is on to not finish in 15th place. As long as I don't finish in the bottom 3, I'm happy. So we're coming around this bend now, hunting him down. And I said, obviously my fresh mediums, he's obviously tried to take hards the entire race length, and they are suffering right now. Because that time is plummeting. It's 2 seconds coming into the braking zone for the chicane here. And this is the other time I got that perfect. So much so, he braked really early, obviously because of his really, really bad, suffering hard tyres. And yeah, breeze on through to take myself 14th place. So none of the races this week have particularly gone well. That final race last week's just putting me into the B has really, like, everything I've done. I've raced the MG since the Focus. I've had one good race in the Focus. Everything else, my safety ratings took an absolute battering. But anyway, I'm going to show you highlights of the race whilst I talk about the car. So, I feel like the car it feels underpowered considering how much horsepower it has. Like I said, out of all of the cars, when playing them online, it has the second most horsepower. Only the Civic so far has more, and that's only 5 horsepower more. But the Civic does also weigh more, and with the Civic you feel it. It feels heavier than it really should do. Like like I said, it weighs the same amount as the MG, but maybe because the MG's a saloon, or sedan for you Americans, but saloon for me, maybe it holds that weight a bit better than the Astra hatchback. But like I said, like this Astra, like my car at home is a Vauxhall Astra. I mean, it's only a 1.4, but it's still a Vauxhall Astra. Like the VXR that's in this game, when you get in that car, apart from the red trim for the VXR stuff, it's like sitting in my car. I literally get in my driver's seat, it looks exactly the same. All the buttons are the same on the wheel, everything. So the game's got that kind of stuff spot on. But yeah, I feel like it's underpowered considering how much power it's supposed to have. Like through the corners, it's the most stable. I can hold the apex speeds higher. But down the straights, it suffers, and I don't know why it suffers, because it shouldn't suffer. Like especially compared to the MG, and I know I'm comparing it to the MG a lot, but they weigh the same amount. But it has more power. But the MG is the OP car. Why is that? Don't get it. But anyway, that is going to wrap it up for this one. So if you've enjoyed the video, do hit the like button. If you really enjoyed the video, do please consider subscribing. Otherwise, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.